Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, reacting to some crazy news coming out from the Washington Post. Apparently the Toronto Raptors are in the mix for trading for Kawhi Leonard. Riker, this is some crazy stuff.
Yeah, well, it's not necessarily anything to get super hyped about. Literally the report is just...
I want to be hyped, Riker. I want Kawhi Leonard.
No, that's fair. But yeah, the Toronto Raptors have, I'm doing air quotations right now, have generated buzz as a potential destination for Leonard. So that's as per report of the Washington Post. However, ESPN's Chuck Haynes has said that, you know, besides LA being the preferred destinations for Kawhi Leonard, everybody knows that. Everybody knows that he probably wants to sign there in the offseason. He'd consider Philadelphia as the only Eastern Conference team that he'd be willing to move to. So there's a lot of conflicting news being swirled around here in the rumor mill, and we've certainly heard new pieces of, you know, new sources, new material coming out every second day, it seems like, with where Kawhi's going to go and what teams are interested in him. So I don't know how realistic or how reasonable this new report is, but it's definitely food for thought, given we didn't really consider it to be an actual destination, but now it's turning, it may be.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing mentioned in that article is that we'd have to give up one of DeMar or Lowry in a trade for that to happen. And do you think that that'd be worth a possible Kawhi rental for 1 year, one season? Because obviously he wants to go to LA.
Yeah, I don't know. Would you?
Well, I think if we make that move for Kawhi Leonard, it's a win now move. It's, you know, you take that risk just like Oklahoma City did with Paul George. He said he wanted to go to LA. They're two different personalities, but the goal is to get to the finals this season, and then it's a huge risk. It's a huge gamble on the future, because obviously DeMar and Lowry were the crux behind the success that we've had the past 4 seasons. And if we want to stay in contention with the Celtics and the Sixers in the future, as of right now, those are the backs that we'd have to go off on. So if we got Kawhi Leonard and then lost him the season after, it would put our franchise in a tough place.
Perhaps. I don't think that getting rid of a couple of players and tightening the roster to 8 legitimate rotation pieces is a bad thing, right? And I certainly think that if you were to, you know, like you said, get rid of a couple of really good players and then also lose Kawhi Leonard, then you're taking a step backwards. But I think that, you know, making a solid 8-man rotation team, clearing up maybe a bit of cap space if you were to get rid of a big name player. I mean, of course, you'd have to, you know, sign Leonard, but that's never a bad thing. If you had a Kawhi Leonard on your team, long term would be a preferable outcome. I think what would scare me the most, certainly the hesitation is there that he wouldn't resign. Rumors are saying he likely wouldn't resign because he wants to go to LA. What would frighten me the most in any deal is not that we get rid of Kyle Lowry. It's not that we would get rid of DeMar DeRozan. It's that we would lose futures, so draft picks or some of our young talent, right? Because that's really what the core of this Raptors unit is going to develop into, and that's really what the key to success has been in this previous season, was that bench unit, right? Especially when we have DeMar not playing well in the playoffs, when, you know, we have a lot of veteran guys that obviously are good in their own rights and especially in the regular season, but have these shakes. It's what we want from a, you know, a longevity standpoint in terms of the Raptors, is to have this core unit of bench players that will develop into starters, obviously. So to lose them in picks, I don't know if it'd be worth it to go for Kawhi.
Yeah, because the Spurs, the reason that they're looking for different teams is because, you know, the Lakers want to trade, but they don't want to give up many assets. The Sixers want to trade, but they only want to give up Covington and Saric. So they're looking for a team that would give up a bunch of assets, and, you know, they're only going to trade him to Toronto if we give them the haul. So one of DeMar and Lowry and a few young guys. So you're saying that you'd rather, you don't mind for Kawhi Leonard seeing DeMar or Lowry go?
Well, it'd be easier if Kyle went, because then we already have 2 point guards to one to fill into the starting position, one to fill into the bench position. right?
Yeah.
And then we pick up an all-star small forward, right, and cornerstone player. If we were to get rid of DeMar, now we're tossing in Kawhi Leonard into a situation where you have to become the number one scoring option, because that's what DeMar was to us, right? And that's he's already vocalized that he doesn't want to be the number one guy, right? He wants to be a star player. He doesn't want to be the main player. And I don't think that Kyle Lowry, I mean, he's good. I don't think that he has enough, I don't know what it would be, enough. He definitely has the charisma. I just don't know if he has the consistency of a superstar player to be that number one scoring guy, enough for Kawhi to say, okay, I'm the second option here.
Yeah.
Right. I don't see that from Kyle.
Consider staying, like as DeMar would.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that it would only work if we were to get rid of Kyle Lowry, and I don't think the Spurs would want Kyle Lowry, and an aging point guard on a steep contract.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the thing too.
Reasonable.
If we got rid of Kyle, because you know how much I love Kyle Lowry. He's one of my favorite players of all time. But he's older than DeMar, and if we had to give up one of the two, now where they are in their careers, even though I think Kyle Lowry had the better postseason last year, I think that's the guy you'd rather move than DeMar DeRozan. But you probably have to give up more young pieces. So just to throw a hypothetical trade out there, would you trade Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, and 2 firsts for Kawhi Leonard? Because that's the sort of deals that they're looking for.
No?
No,
because then you're getting rid of Fred too. Fred was the piece that we thought was the most crucial free agent. Or
DeLon. We'll say DeLon, because I don't think Fred can be traded. That was just off the cuff.
Right. Maybe. No, but no, because 2 first rounders. No, because then what do we have? We have nothing to build off of then. Or no, well, we have everything to build off of. We have the players that we already have, but we're never making another selection in the draft unless we get all the gems to develop from the second round and bring them all through the G League. I
agree with you there. I agree with you. Our future would be, it takes a big hit on the future if we had to trade, obviously, one of our stars and, a bunch of young assets. But the case for it, just to make the case for it, even though I'd lean towards not swinging for the fences with that move, but if we made that move, the Celtics are still, most of their core is still young, especially where Kawhi and Gordon Hayward are still coming off injuries. So they might not be the team that they're going to be next season, that they will be a few years down the line. The Sixers are built off second and third year players next season. They aren't going to be as good as they're going to be down the line. And LeBron's out of the East this season. This could be the year the Raptors actually make the finals. So would you risk,
for 1 year in the finals?
Taking our future for the finals, for a finals appearance?
No, not for a finals appearance. I wouldn't. I don't think it's that valuable to make the finals unless... No, I don't know. I don't think it's that valuable to make the finals. If we're making a bid for the championship, then of course, right? But if we're doing a 1 year player just to destroy the team in the following season, all just to appear in the finals and get swept, I don't think that makes any sense. And the other thing to be said about Kyle Lowry too, which I kind of neglected, is that if we were to get rid of DeMar DeRozan, we don't lose the leadership. But if we were to get rid of Kyle Lowry, right, then he really is the leader of the team. Yep. Right? DeMar leads through his performance, but I think in terms of a vocal leader, then we're not getting that back with Kawhi Leonard. He's, one of the more quiet players. Yep. And that's, if
you're bringing in a usual superstar that's a loudmouth, that gets everyone going, like a Chris Paul sort of guy, LeBron, if you're bringing in one of those guys, then, you could see Kyle Lowry leaving, but as you mentioned, Kawhi Leonard is just a quiet guy, very, very obscure personality in the NBA.
Yeah. Well, this is my kind of question. What would the San Antonio Spurs want? Because really, any trade scenario where they successfully get rid of Kawhi Leonard, they win, right? Because if they don't get rid of him this season, they're losing him in the offseason, right? For nothing in return, and they have an entire season with. It's not guaranteed that he's going to play, and even if he does, he doesn't want to, right? So any trade scenario, they win, and they weren't a bad team. They didn't play the entire season. They played the entire season without him. So I'm just looking at what sort of position it is that they're lacking the most, and I mean they lost, Tony Parker, so maybe they do want a point guard. What would be cool is if they wanted DeJounte Murray. He's not as consistent as I would like to believe. He has the best tattoo in the league for sure.
Yeah, he's got the best tattoo. That's what.
that crazy shoulder tattoo. But I don't know. I could see them wanting either Kyle Lowry. I could see them wanting DeMar DeRozan, obviously, but maybe there's a spot for Kyle Lowry on the San Antonio Spurs. That was a rumor when he was a free agent that that was one of his destinations.
Yep. Yeah, so that name has been connected there. But you mentioned it. Kawhi Leonard has tanked his value so much that the Spurs are just looking for a team that would give up a bunch of assets. Because, if Kawhi Leonard wasn't talking the media so much, I think they could easily get a bunch of young players and young stars and a huge crop for Kawhi. But anything they get now is a win for them. So, yeah, I think the only way a move happens is if we give up the farm, and I think both of us are in agreement that's probably not the route we should take.
That's true. For a very quiet player in the league, he's definitely hurt his chances on making a good move and being how vocal he is with saying he's definitely going to LA. He's pushed himself away from teams, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Would you? Final thought. Mm-hmm. Would you like to see him in a Raptors jersey to start the season?
I'd love to see him in a Raptors jersey to start the season, but because it would definitely be the most exciting Raptors single season in Raptors history. I think that we're both in agreement there.
Mm-hmm.
But we got young Kawhi on the roster. He'll take us to championships a few years down the line.
Yep. And we got Raleigh Alkins.
Raleigh Alkins as well. We got young Kawhi and young Michael Jordan. That's the combo we got on the wings. But anyways, let us know what you guys think in the comments. Should the Raptors give up the farm for Kawhi, make a big trade for one season of success, or hold back and trust what we got going on here? Let us know in the comments.
Cheers.